going, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Screen Weekly. I'm Jay Marlene, and you're watching Talkin Beyond. Today, joining with us for the season 1 premiere is Pegah Ghafoori. Ghafoori, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You might have seen her recently on the show From, which is a series by Epix that you can now stream on Prime Video. Welcome, Pegah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so initially, how did you hear about the show, and like what really made you interested in being a part of it?
I was submitted good old-fashioned way that you are for work as an actor. And originally we didn't hear back. I heard from an acting coach that messaged me. And she was like, "Did you go out for this role?" And I was like, "No." So I messaged my manager and he followed up and I got the audition. And then a few weeks I think went by before he called me. He was like, "They want to see you. I don't know what you did, but they want to see you." And then, I did a network test and the rest is history.
That's so cool. And we've seen a lot of people, give high praise and comparisons from this show to stuff like, The Twilight Zone and Lost. Well, ironically enough, produced by the same people. But like for you, when you hear this kind of praise, especially from someone like Stephen King, who really shouted you guys out, like what's the response that you're seeing, and how are you responding to it?
The response has been insane. Obviously, I heard earlier today that Howard Stern had shouted us out. Yeah, on his show. How it has been quite overwhelming, at least for me individually. There's so much love, and the fans of the show are so vocal about it, which is amazing. And obviously, like, so many people from Iran, of all places, have been messaging me, and it just fills my heart with so much joy and warmth. Just like to even think that I made my people proud if I did nothing else on this show. But the support's just been amazing. And please keep it coming. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah.
Especially the people that cover it every week on their YouTube channels. It's just like,
it can be a very emotional show, and very community based, because when you get into this type of scenario, right, you have to be tight knit. And kind of seeing back at some of your background, right, with you going to school for telecommunications or emergency dispatch, you seem like someone that'd be, very tightly knit in their community. How much of yourself do you see in Fatima?
a lot. I stopped saying this, but when I'd first gotten the show, I kept like to the people I could share with, like the cast and the writer and the director, I was like, this character is literally me. Um, Obviously my grandmother's name is Fatima, and
Wow.
yeah, a lot of people in my life I found out's names are Fatima. And obviously the show is based on fictional characters and nothing is, I don't think, is based on any actual true stories, but the parallels between her life and mine were almost uncanny. Like I couldn't shake off the feeling that these roles came to us. At least personally, I felt
Yeah.
like it was made for me.
If Peg is traveling and she ends up in this town, like you as a
Ooh.
person, how would you, I guess, survive in that world?
We're getting in deep already. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. There's a lot of me in her, and I've learned a lot from Fatima myself. But you can't even imagine what it would actually be like. Like I see some people criticizing, why did this person do this or do that? And I'm like, if you really think about it, you wouldn't.
Yeah, like what would you
Like,
do?
it's such a raw show and such a human show as well, and they've done a great job at portraying it as such and giving the audience that feel. But I feel like I would also stick to the people that have at least look like have figured it out. um but I'm sure I would have my ups and downs. I don't think I'd be able to keep it together as well as Fatima's been keeping it together so far.
Yeah. So are you town or colony house?
Colony house, all
Obviously.
the way.
Obviously.
Colony house. People keep trying to tell me or get me to say, actually, I'm town, Fatima's colony. But no, colony house for sure.
Well, I mean, if you show up by yourself, like you would want to be with people, that are like yourself instead of being thrown up into some home by your lonesome, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess if I get to live with Kenny's mom, then I feel like I'd be fine. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna kick Kenny out and live with his mom.
Yeah.
But um, Liz Moy, she's just like the kindest person. Obviously, I live with Liz Saunders, Donna, in the colony house, so I'll
Yeah.
take either. But I love my people in the colony house. We're a little fucked up, but it's
Yeah.
okay. We're living our best life.
Well, yeah, and it seems like you are, well, maybe not. I've seen obviously all through social media, like a lot of love towards you, but also a lot of love on the show. You're with your character. Like they just celebrated your anniversary. I don't know if that's something to celebrate, but they celebrated an anniversary of Fatima being there. It does seem like you're like a huge anchor on the show. Like out of like the relationships you have outside the show, like who do you think you have like the strongest bond with?
Like the actors.
Yeah, the actors.
Um,
You seem very close to
it's
Julie on the show, so
yeah, no, Hannah, she's my girl. I love her to bits. Um, it's hard to answer that question because we were there, all of us were away from home. We were all flown in
yeah,
from like across the country. Um, and we were there alone with no one but, the group for 6 months. So we became almost family very, very quickly.
yeah.
Um, but Hannah's my best friend. Like I love her. Liz Saunders, she's like my Halifax mom. Um, but everybody, like even Harold, I didn't have as much screen time with Harold, but it was such a wholesome group of people on this show. Even the crew and the directors and producers, they're very, very, very kind to us. Um, so it's easy to get close to people.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of you see that throughout the show a lot, right? And the crazy
Mhm.
thing is even though it's, a thriller horror type of show, it's very much a almost family community based, type of thing we're watching. The story itself, it's really interesting to see that yes, there's monsters throughout that whole town and facility, but we have seen in a couple episodes like that inner demon of specific people that comes out. And
Mhm.
I think it's cool that it's more than just like the horror genre. It's still about people, and I think that's what really makes this show unique, is that it's not so much the stakes are high, right? We end up caring about your guys' characters a lot more, and very, very quickly. And so you would say like like a Hannah on the show and stuff, like you would think that's kind of like that's your girl right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
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 And speaking of celebrations, I mean, I think we got one next month, right, for someone's birthday, and it was very hard.
Ooh,
It was very hard to find your birthday. So I believe it's April
thanks. I hit it
19th.
very well.
You hit it very well. Well, my birthday is actually on the 21st. So when I saw something closer to the 19th, I was like, oh, we're very close, birthday buddies.
The
So
18th.
it's the 18th.
Am I the No, eight, yes. I forgot my birthday for a
You
second.
forgot.
18th. Yes.
Okay, so
No.
April 18th. Yeah, so April
But you're the
18th.
21st?
Yeah, I'm on the 21st, and then my wife is actually the 16th. Yeah, so we're all little close
Oh,
birthday
sweet.
buddies. Yeah, but speaking of
I
real
love that.
anniversaries, I've talked to specific artists before. My first thing I always ask is, how do you feel about the first thing you ever released? Now, about 8 years
Mm.
ago, we have something that's available on Spotify if you guys want to go watch it. But you believe it's called Fall Apart, right?
Oh. Why do people always find this? It was, yes, Fall Apart. It was this song that I wrote when I was 14, for this boy in Florida. Um,
Oh,
and I haven't looked at it since. So please don't.
well, whoever's watching this today, we'll put in a clip for you guys to listen to it. But ironically enough, you have almost like 10 like monthly followers that still just listen to that song.
I know. Every once in a while, I have a friend. I don't know where she lives now, but every once in a while, she messages me. She's like, every time this comes on shuffle, it just gets stuck in my head, and I can't stop listening. And I'm like, so then just take it off your playlist.
Yeah. And what's funny is that I was playing it last night, and then I just heard "Daddy, Daddy," and my 2-year-old ran over, and she started dancing to your song. Yeah.
Stop.
And then
That's so
yeah,
cute.
and then her, because I have a 2 and a 1 year old, and both of them were just dancing because I was playing it like twice last night, and they're both just dancing to the song, and I was
Kids
like,
seem to love that song,
it's very catchy, right? It's, you might not be proud of
unfortunately.
it, but it's very catchy with kids. So at least you're winning somewhere with that song.
Great.
I
I
will.
have 11 monthly listeners.
Yeah, yeah. But I also seen you've done some covers on YouTube. Obviously, you haven't posted in a long time. You seem to be a little, busier. But do you ever plan on going back to music at all?
I mean, I never left music. It's just now mostly in the shower and in the car,
Oh, yeah.
away from everybody else's ears, just in case they want to be like, "Oh, I can't stop listening." I'm like, "Please stop."
Please stop.
No, please stop. I want to go back, but I think I'm having a lot of fun with acting right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I found my peace. Um, and if I ever need a little breather from acting, then I'll go back to music until I get tired of that, and then I'll come back to acting.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't have anything in the books. No.
You don't write anymore, or?
Every once in a while on the piano, I'll be like, "Ooh, that sounds nice," but I never really go back to it.
Fair
It's not a
enough.
priority for me right now.
Yeah. Well, stick to the acting, because not saying the singing's bad, but I want to see more of this show and
Stick to
whatever
the
else to come out.
acting.
Yeah. That's the kind way. No. Yeah. But yeah, outside of music and that, it seems like some of those short films you did too were kind of in that thriller mystery genre. So like, how much of a challenge, or what was the easy transition going into this kind of universe?
The story is very much it's there's a good balance between horror, monsters, and just raw humanness. So that obviously makes it a lot easier to relate to. But they've done such a great job at sprinkling everybody's fears into it without you noticing, and that's what I think gets a lot of people, and it makes our job as actors a lot easier as well, because it's it's just so well done that you it makes our job very, very easy. It wasn't hard to transition, I don't think. I mean, I've done other. I think I did a short film, a little, might have actually been the first thing I ever did. It was a short film. um but even that, it was just about understanding what's actually happening and giving into that entirely.
And some of the questions that we actually had online that actually were messaged to me was, one of them was going to be, like, what's an actor or actress that you've seen that you'd like to work with soon?
um this isn't this isn't like a secret or anything, because I say it all the time, but I would die, I would kill to work with Andrew Garfield. Like, I've been studying his work for a long time, and just with his recent work, his like, everywhere I go on social media, I see him, and so obviously it's a lot more at the surface, but he's just a beautiful storyteller, and I respect his work a lot. He's very honest and raw, and I feel like that's what I aspire to do with my work, and just be so relatable and raw that it makes people think, and it makes people feel things they didn't know they needed to.
Yeah.
But I would also love to work with some Iranian actors and actresses, because obviously I grew up watching
Yeah.
them. And now, just to think that I might genuinely be able to now is just like, full circle. I love
Yeah.
it.
So I guess it's a two-parter, but the first one is, so is Andrew Garfield your Spider-Man?
Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. And
Yeah.
then, kind of speaking back to your birth home, have you had any? What was the reception back, like, from family back home? Like, have they seen your show, or have they seen any of your work?
A few of my aunts, well, most of my aunts are actually out of Iran at the
Hmm.
moment. So my mom's been sending them links. But my with the one aunt that I do have in Iran, she's trying to get a hold of it. So my cousins are like, where are people watching it? But I have gotten a lot of feedback from just people in Iran.
Yeah.
Um, the support from my Persian peeps has just been overwhelming, and I wish I could send them all the love I have. But it's just, it's such a just a lovely feeling of just warmth and happiness. I'm glad that they're enjoying it, and that they can be proud of it, because I tried to be very, very honest with her, and I tried to, um like I said, there's parallels between my life and Fatima's.
Yeah.
um and by that I mean my grandmother's life itself. So I'm glad that they're seeing a bit of their country in this girl. So I feel like that's, if I'm going to be proud of anything, it's that I've been able to do that honestly.
Yeah, and I think the show does a really good job of, inclusion representation. It's a very, very diverse, cast. And I think that's what's really
Hmm.
cool. So a lot of the time, we miss out on that. And then at some point it becomes a thing where like, oh, we got to include people. But no, it doesn't, nothing in this show feels forced. Nothing in this show feels like it's shoehorned in. It's a lovable cast altogether. And I think it is really cool that you actually get to represent, like you said, your people that necessarily wouldn't get this type of exposure in this kind of setting, whether it was more directed towards a specific type of setting, right? So it's really cool to
Hmm.
see everyone have their time to shine on the show, and it's really cool to like I said, just see it all play out, see everyone as one community. And that's what's crazy, is because like, if you, an ideal world, Colony House is kind of how we would like to see society, everyone just one melting pot without any drama, other than the drama of people opening windows, but that's not here nor there right now.
That's not on
Yeah.
there. Don't remind me.
Yeah. So, and that's something too, I mean, like, well, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'll try to keep it without spoilers, but the ingenuity that Fatima actually shows in one of these episodes, like, do you think Pegah comes up with that same solution?
I feel like I try to avoid that situation altogether, like with everything I had to begin with. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's either it works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it, it's other people's problem in the morning. Like, you know, hopefully it works, but if it doesn't, that's it. Like,
Yeah, that's
hopefully
true.
that's all you gotta deal with. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're gonna run to town.
Yeah.
We could have.
You could have, but yeah. Well, speaking of people within that situation, right? We have seen on Twitter, been trending. In the terms of nicknames, we've seen Peaches, start trending quite a bit for Scott's
Is
character.
it
Yeah,
trending?
well, it was trending for the show. Yeah, everyone started talking about it. Have you heard, or do you guys have any nicknames for each other that's funny, like Peaches?
It's a funny story. Yes. I don't know if I should. I mean, um, it's they're nicknames for our cast members, like our peers, not necessarily the characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Peaches is a big one for Victor. And I think actually I was the one that accidentally started it. I was on a FaceTime call with Hannah, and she
Mhm.
was eating peaches, and I was like, "Oh, Victor!" And so everywhere I look now, it's like peaches, and I'm so happy it caught on. But um, like there was a while. Uh, there's just like inside jokes we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
for
yeah.
each other, but we have a few. We have a few, yeah.
Yeah,
Like I was designated driver because I was there with my car at first.
yeah.
So I was double D's designated driver, but they're just
Yeah.
dumb nicknames we have for each other.
Yeah, so yeah, it has been super cool to see that reaction and that interaction. But yeah, when I saw Peaches, and it's like they're just using the emoji now, and I was like, yeah. We,
Yeah.
I think Scott just tweeted today at you, and he had the Peaches in there as well. So it's funny how it's kind of,
Yes.
yeah, it's becoming synonymous with him. So that's super cool.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, so outside of that, I mean, we only have about 2 episodes left,
Yeah.
this season, for those that don't have Prime, right? I think they still got 3 more. But what can you tell us about these last few episodes coming up, like what to expect?
I don't even know what to expect. It's been so long. It's for my own sake as well. Like I try to forget so that I don't accidentally spoil anything. Um, Honestly, I've been loving people's theories. I don't know if they're the case. They tell us nothing. Um, but it's a lot of fun just seeing where people think it's gonna go. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you anything, but I wish I could.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, when you watch it, definitely tweet at me, be like, either I freaking knew it or oh my God.
Yeah.
But I think expect it, like the show just gets better.
Oh no, it does, and I will say, like, when you're watching it, right, and again, it goes back to the specific network, the writing and just the overall direction gets better every single episode. Where if one episode you're like, oh, they did that, but then another episode you're like, oh wow, I can't believe they did that instead. Like, it honestly, you're seeing a show evolve over this season and really come into its own. What it could be a primetime show, and like that's why I'm really hoping that if this does, once the season finishes, and if it does like hit like Netflix or something that's accessible to everyone, like I truly think it's gonna blow up. Like it's crazy how good this story is. Like my personal theory is that they need to try and escape at night. That's the only way they can possibly get out. In my eyes, I think nighttime is a huge thing. It's because yes, the whatever. Actually, do we have a name for the monsters? Or are they just called the monsters?
They who shall not be named as. No,
I suppose
we don't have one.
Yeah,
The monsters.
yeah, the monsters. Yeah, but yeah, no, I've seen a bunch of different theories. Mine personally is like something at night could possibly hold the key to it, but hopefully we'll find out
Like the night's the time to get out. Is that what
yeah,
you're saying?
that might be something that helps it, because obviously no one's tried to escape at night because they're getting hunted. So, maybe you're not gonna give me anything, are you?
I don't know anything to give you.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
Yeah. So they straight Marvel you guys. They don't let you know anything.
Well, we know what's on the scripts that are given
Yeah.
to us, but nothing other than that.
Is there gonna
But
be?
even then, like we know what you guys see, which
Yeah.
is not much.
So is there gonna be season 2? Maybe.
I hope so. I mean, if you guys keep watching it, we would love to do another season or lots more seasons. But I mean, obviously, keep tuning in.
Oh, of course.
I
Yeah.
don't know though. Nothing's been confirmed
Yeah.
with me, at least.
And yeah, how was that filming location? You said it was Halifax, or how do you say it?
Halifax.
Halifax.
Yeah,
How
it's a
was it filming out there?
beautiful. At least I was staying by the water downtown, right by the harbor, and you go to certain parks and you look over and you're like, what's the next thing over there if I were to see it? And you're like, Europe. I mean, obviously you don't see
Yeah.
it, but like it's just it was lovely being away from your own reality, your home, what you're used to. But we shot in at a few different locations, and they were also beautiful, and they were just made so well. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen the videos, but our production design team, like they worked some magic creating that town.
Yeah, I mean it looks very practical. Like those are actual like houses and buildings up there, right? Yeah, which I think
Obviously, there are certain ones where the interior is like a 30-minute drive across town, but it's entirely built, even that.
yeah, and I think that's what really makes it pop out too. It feels like you're there, right? There's limited-ish, green screen work to where it feels like you're actually in the town. It feels like you're actually at the colony house. Like there's never a time where I'm looking for something. I'm like, oh, nope, that's fake. Nope, they're not really there. Like it's a really, really good job in how they did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, that's kind of like all the questions I have.
Great.
Yeah, because I mean, I was really just excited to sit down with you and talk about, the show, your time on it. It's really cool to see it come together, and hopefully, we see a lot more of you. For the people at home that are watching, do you have anything else in the works or anything you'd like to announce or plug?
Right now I'm just taking it a little bit easy, trying to come down from the show itself.
Yeah.
Focus on myself a little bit. But I'm still auditioning, and we're trying to figure out where I want to go next. But I'm just hoping we get another season. I would love to go back. I just like everybody at home, I cannot get enough of these characters and enough of this story, and I want to see my people again.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone wants to go back to that area, but the show, yes.
You'd be surprised. It grows on you.
Oh, I mean,
Literally, like the trees move.
the trees are literally moving. I actually feel like some people are probably more so thriving in that area now. Kind of like people that may not have had the best life before are finding like a new lifestyle and like a new way of life in there that's like their purpose, right? So it'll be interesting to see how these next 2 episodes play out. Hopefully you're still there and on it. We don't get no flashback scenes like certain people. I'm still crying over that one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Again, thank you so much, for agreeing to
you.
do this. It was really awesome to get to talk to you. But yeah, everyone else at home, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, if you see more of this content, hopefully we can get more people from the cast on here to kind of sit down and talk with them. It'd be really cool to do that. Hopefully Pegah could put in a good word.
I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll tell my.
You let me know. But yeah, well, I'm gonna go give my kids a hug for you.
Yes,
But yeah, be safe, stay safe,
Thank you as well.
and we'll talk to you soon.
For sure.
Thanks.